group of people.
Well, Kent, the first inclination is to say the Dirty Dozen are different from you and me. That's not totally true. But they are a group of men who march to the beat of a different drummer and move to music of their own.
Something about the outlaw biker. Call it a motorcycle mystique. Our perceptions of bikers come, for the most part, from movies and television. Hollywood has had a fascination for these fellows for years. Generally, it is an image of a boozing, brawling biker. In Arizona, the most notable biker group is the Dirty Dozen, and the Dozen doesn't like the image.
It takes a chance on our own merit and not on what they see on the TVs or on read the newspaper or see the movies with Jack Nicholson and Peter Fonda. And this is taken on our own merit, not on what they've their own fantasy or image of it.
The police contend it's more than image. Police say the Dozen got their reputation the old-fashioned way.
The organized outlaw biker groups have a tendency to attract people who are prone to the activities, the criminal activities.
This wouldn't discuss the Dirty Dozen specifically. Police say bikers are a problem, and while the Dirty Dozen is a relatively small group, it is the Dozen who get the headlines. It is a flow of negative publicity the Dozen would like to stem.
I don't want to be all these people out there as friends. I just want to be understand that we do lead normal lives, and we would like to be left alone as much as possible. You know, and be allowed to be Dirty Dozen and not be interfered with on a unfair basis.
On a ride with the Dirty Dozen on a Sunday afternoon in March. Shortly after the ride began, a police car joined the procession. A couple miles later, that police car turned off, and another policeman joined. A few miles later, that officer turned off abruptly. After we arrived at our destination, a biker bar, a sheriff's officer arrived. A few minutes later, another deputy pulled in. Eventually, one deputy was left to watch.
We're just watching to make sure nothing happens. We haven't stopped any of them for traffic violations or anything. Just basically our normal patrol.
Members of the Dirty Dozen say this sort of thing happens all the time. Phoenix police say they do not follow the Dirty Dozen around as a matter of policy.
We don't want to give the appearance that we are targeting a group of people as being bad guys, because we don't.
In fairness to the police department, a couple of weeks ago, there was an incident in which an officer shot a civilian, and a week later there was another one of those drug roundups. Word of the roundup was out long before the shooting had occurred.
Did you ride one of the big hogs?
I did not. No, I didn't get on a motorcycle. Frankly, I'm not crazy about motorcycles.
Okay, thank you.
Activity. The party and live for today approach attracts the criminal element and often involves illegal activity. And as we have seen, the Valley's most prominent outlaw biker group is the Dirty Dozen.
There is no doubt about it. The Dirty Dozen have a bad reputation. Police say it is a reputation that is richly deserved. Officials say members of the Dozen have been involved in a variety of crimes, and they say it has gotten worse in recent years.
They've become more organized. They've become better financed. They've also expanded their operations, their tentacles, so to speak, into other areas.
But police are reluctant to single out the Dirty Dozen as a law enforcement problem. Police estimate that independent outlaw bikers outnumber the Dirty Dozen by 40 to 1. It is the biker culture, police say, that provides the problems. Nevertheless, police say there are bikers and members of the Dirty Dozen who are law-abiding citizens who happen to have Harleys. But police say that all too often bikers break the law while in pursuit of a good time. Members of the Dirty Dozen acknowledge the bad reputation, although they contend it is more rumor than substance. And they don't see themselves as the only ones to have backsliders in their midst.
Phoenix Fire Department. You know, there's a group of young, healthy men, and we're going to have a few that follow the law. Phoenix Police Department, same way. You know, they're all supposed to be healthy men, and I see all the time where they are indicting their own, you know.
This man is willing to believe just about any allegation made against the Dirty Dozen. He rides a motorcycle, very often socializes with bikers, but he sees a major difference between independent bikers and the Dirty Dozen.
They seem to thrive on violence. They seem to like to get in fights, big fights.
He attended a party that erupted into a free-for-all. He blames members of the Dirty Dozen and has adopted a philosophy for dealing with the dozen.
We avoid them. We go out of our way to avoid them. If they appear someplace, we disappear, just because we know in the past the problems have arisen with them being around.
Members of the Dirty Dozen admit there are fights, which isn't unusual considering they hang around bars like these. If there is a heated disagreement at a biker bar, they do not send out for a federal mediator. Members of the Dirty Dozen say that in those altercations, even when they win, they lose.
We go to a bar, and we go to bars a lot. There's always going to be somebody in there that wants to test you, wants to push you, you know. And we probably put up with more pushing and testing because we know we're the ones going to get blamed for it than your average person would in the bar. Because we're the ones going to get blamed for starting trouble no matter what happens.
In the final analysis, a determination has to be made of how much of a threat to society is posed by the Dirty Dozen and outlaw bikers, and how much of a law enforcement priority they should then receive. And those are questions